Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final Ranger Roundup episode of the 2023-24 school year. I'm your host, David Wilson, the Assistant AD for Communications here at Regis. Tonight we will be talking some Regis baseball and softball as the two teams prepare for the final weeks of the regular season and upcoming postseason play in May. Before we dive in, I want to extend a quick thank you, as always, to Regis ITS and Walker's Pub for hosting our broadcast each month. And joining us now is head baseball coach Pat Jolley and senior left-handed pitcher Ethan Sloan. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Coach, we're going to jump right into it. The team has won 5 straight and in the thick of things in the RMAC standings, coming off of a 4-game sweep of New Mexico Highlands and CCU on deck this week. From your perspective, what's the state of the team? How are you feeling entering these final 2 weekends of regular season action?
Absolutely. I'm excited about see where we're about to go. I think we've played a really challenging schedule all year. I think we've competed against some of the best teams in the country. And obviously we want to play that for the home stretch that we're in right now. We're just going to go attack it day by day. I think a big thing with the guys right now is they've got to make sure they're getting their school work in with finals coming up. And then we're just going to go out and continue to stack good practices on good practices, and hopefully the performance on the field carries over.
You know, there's a lot of impressive players and stats to go over with this team, but one that really stands out is that we lead the RMAC right now in strikeouts with 354 as a pitching staff. Next closest is CSU Pueblo with 340 and 20 less innings pitched. How big of an emphasis was it for you and your staff to, really go out and find guys that had swing and miss stuff, especially in an offensive-heavy RMAC?
Well, the RMAC is definitely offensive, and so in order to compete, you need to have guys with, like you said, swing and miss. So, when we're going out and recruiting, we try to identify guys that have the potential and the projection down the road to have that swing and miss, and then it's just a matter of getting them into the system. And Coach Laus has done a phenomenal job with our pitching staff this year of just trying to build that culture. And I think he's done a good job every day, just day in, day out. But it's recruiting. It's always the wins and losses comes down to two things: recruiting and culture. And those are the 2 things that we harp on and hammer our guys more than anything else. When you're playing at altitude, being able to spin the ball, being able to locate multiple pitches for strikes, and you also have to have a good bounce back mentality because of the altitude, you're going to give up some balls that were actually pretty good pitches. And so we just try to attack it from all 3 phases of it, and we just try to attack each day.
We know one of those swing and miss arms is sitting right next to you, and Ethan Sloan. Ethan, you are currently tied for 8th in the RMAC in strikeouts, despite being a relief pitcher, tied with your teammate Wyatt Zittizen. And you're averaging 15.3 strikeouts per 9 innings the last 2 seasons, after about a strikeout every inning your first 2 years. What do you think has really clicked for you the last 2 years that have really shot up those strikeout numbers?
So I think it's really 2 things that have impacted my strikeout numbers. I think the first one is the uptick in velocity. My first 2 years, I think I topped out maybe 90, 91. Starting last year, I was regularly topping out 93, and now this year I've been up as high as 97. And in a conference where, most of your pitchers, especially most of your lefties, are going to be up to maybe 87, 88, it creates a bit of an outlier effect that when I go up against opposing hitters, they just don't see it very often. I think the second part would be just better execution of the slider. It was always one of my best pitches, but it was always really hard for me to execute, especially in high school, early college. Last year was really the first year where I could kind of throw it in and out of the zone on command, and that gets guys off the fastball. It produces swings and misses, and it gets me a lot of my strikeouts.
And you've been in the RMAC now for 4 years. You're seeing guys that have, you're seeing hitters that you've seen multiple years in a row now. You're in addition to the strikeout numbers, you have a career best ERA right now. You have a career best batting average against. What adjustments have you made as well, other than just having the increase in velocity and locating better? What have you been able to do your homework on with these hitters to perform at such a high level this senior year for you?
Yeah, so when you see enough hitters in this conference, you start to kind of pick up on what they're looking for. Because I'm not a guy who is the easiest to hit off of, I think that hitters will generally sell out to the outside half of the plate. They know that's where it's going to be easiest to hit the fastball, and I think they really just bet that I'm not going to be able to throw 3 fastballs or 3 sliders on the inside half. So this year has been the first where, without really thinking about it, I can get to the inside half of the plate. And, when you start, especially like a right-handed hitter off with an inside fastball, coming from my arm angle, it's hard for them to adjust to anything else that comes after that. So I think in terms of adjusting to hitters, I think that's probably the biggest improvement I've made.
And then for you, Coach, from your perspective, what have you seen with Ethan this year and last year? Again, as I mentioned, having a career year, he's on pace to set career best in earned run average, strikeouts, fewest walks, opponent batting average against, and he's also 4-1 with a conference-leading 8 saves, which are the 10th most among all Division II pitchers right now.
I mean, first and foremost, I think Ethan's the man. I think he's the best pitcher in Division II baseball. He's by far the best closer in Division II baseball, and it makes my job extremely easy on the back end of the game, just to give him the ball. I think the thing with Ethan is, one, he's a student of the game. He picks up on tendencies extremely quick, and he's not just a spectator when he's not in the game. He's really bearing down on guys. And then I think from a pitchability standpoint, he mentioned it, the ability to get in on right-handers, I think, has really been the key for him this year. I felt like last year was a lot of, it was a lot of arm side fastballs with a good slider. Now it's the ability to go in and out versus right-handers with a slider, and I wouldn't want to hit him. And so I just think he attacks, he's in the strike zone, multiple pitches for strikes, he's a bulldog, he's tough, he's everything you want on the back end of the game.
And Ethan, we've seen you in a lot of different roles during your time at Regis. You've spent some time as a starter, you've worked as a multi-inning relief guy, and then you also can come in high-lever situations when we're asked to get 3 outs. How does preparing for a relief role versus a starting role differ?
I think knowing exactly which day you're going to throw, at least for me, it gives me a little bit more pressure. I kind of like being told last minute that, I'm going down to the bullpen, and then maybe 5-7 minutes later that I'm going in the game. It just gives me less time to think. And when I was a starter, that was always the biggest issue. It was, I'd start warming up, and, I have 30, 45 minutes to, till game time. And that entire 30 to 45 minutes, I'm thinking about all the ways that I could mess up, fail, stumble, whatever. When I'm relieving, whether it's the 1-inning stints, 3-inning stints, it's always, you don't have time to think about that stuff. All you have time to do is prepare yourself to, jump into the deep end, and then you do. So that's the difference for me.
Yeah, you happen to just be one of, as Coach Jolley said, one of the best in Division II doing it this year.
Yeah.
Coach, we're about 2 weeks away from our final home series of the regular season against CSU Pueblo, May 3rd and 4th. Ethan is going to be a part of that senior class that's going to be honored Saturday afternoon. Being around these guys for 2 years now, what has this senior class in particular meant to what the program has been building towards?
Well, I think they mean everything. 100% buy-in on day one. These guys work hard. They're the leaders on and off the field. They set the tone. They're the hardest working group in the weight room. And it's just easy to follow guys that work that hard and have that much attention to detail. You can talk about any senior that we have. They all play an extremely valuable role in our success, and you're going to obviously miss them at the end of this year, and that's why we're going to try and make a run and let them keep playing ball for as long as we can.
And Ethan, for you, what do you think senior day is going to be like? And when you think back on your time in a Rangers uniform, what are you most proud of these last 4 years?
Senior day is going to be pretty gut-wrenching. It always is, but now that I'm the guy leaving, there's some added emotion to it. I think in my 4 years here, the thing I'm most proud about is sort of how far I've come along. I mean, my freshman year, I wasn't really reliable. I didn't trust myself to get the job done, and now, I go into any situation knowing I can handle it. And I think it's a testament to how I've been willing to stick through all the tough times that I've faced in my career here. And I think it's a testament to the work I've put in 4 years' time. So.
And then your senior group as a whole, I mean, I'm thinking of guys like Levi Padilla as well, of just the kind of switch that you guys have made these last couple of years of making Regis a perennial, you know, in the RMAC championship game last year, just to be a part of that turning of success. What has that meant to you as well?
Oh, it's been incredible. I mean, especially Levi, I mean, he's probably the most natural-born leader I've ever met, and he's really been able to pull our team together and establish a culture for us. And when you have guys like that on your team that can say, this is who we are, this is what we do, and then they stick to it, they commit to it, your success is inevitable. And it's not just winning games, it's being able to go out there every single day with the same mentality.
You know, one thing too I'll add in, David, with that is I think anybody wherever you take, you want to leave it better than you found it. And I think that these 10 seniors, when they end up graduating, can definitely say they left Regis baseball better than when they found it. So,
absolutely, Coach. And then I know we still have 8 regular season games remaining. I don't want to look too far ahead, but would be remiss if I didn't ask, you know, what are some of the goals that you gentlemen have for, you know, this team, Ethan, for yourself the rest of the way, you know, coming off of what was, you know, a run last year to the RMAC championship game?
The only goal I have is be as prepared for Sunday. First inning, that's the only thing that matters to me. First game against Colorado Christian.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I mean, our process this year as a team has always been, you know, the most important game is the one we're about to go and play. So Sunday, game 1, that's all we're looking forward to. That's all we're working for right now, and we'll figure out the rest later.
Okay. Well, Coach, and I know you and I have talked about this a couple different times this year, but does the experience of taking 2 of 4 from Augustana, the wins against Westmont, the win against Lubbock Christian, and a win against Mesa being really, really competitive against Colorado Mesa, does that give this group at least the mentality and confidence that these final 2 weeks of the regular season, as long as baseball we can play in May, that they have the ability to beat anyone?
Well, I think first and foremost, yes. We're not scared. We'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter if we jump in a van and we drive through snowstorms, we'll go get after it. So I think the big thing for us is just going out there and playing our style of baseball and our brand. It's won us those games so far, and we're not afraid to go do it again.
Well, gentlemen, wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. But before I let you go, I do have our rapid fire round. First question, in honor of Dead Week this week in preparation for finals, what is your go-to studying in method?
Pray that it goes well. That's what I do. It's never failed me.
Are you a guy that goes to the library by himself? Are you a solo studier? Are you a group studier?
I'll solo study. I mean, I'll kind of look over past tests, things like that, and you know, generally I'll either have it or I don't. So I don't have the greatest memory, so I just kind of read over what I do know. I rehearse it, and then I get into the classroom and I kind of just send it.
What about you, Coach, when you were a student?
I was a procrastinator.
Same.
Wait till the last minute, study, confident.
All these teachers want to have 7 or 8 a.m. finals, so I was the guy that I crammed the night before, and I was too nervous to sleep, so it was just an all-nighter, go do my 8 a.m. and then sleep after the finals. So it sounds like Ethan has the better plan of the 3 of us up here. Well, Ethan, if you could go back to your freshman self again, what's a piece of advice that you'd give them?
Oh, man. There's so many things I'd want to say. I think that probably the most important thing I could tell my freshman self is to be better at taking criticism. I think I was a little too sure of myself and what I was doing back then compared to, like, now that I'm a senior, all that I've learned in 4 years here. I wouldn't have been able to learn if I hadn't opened myself up to criticism, feedback, and all that.
What about you, Coach? What would you go tell freshman Pat Jolley again?
Enjoy it. It goes by fast. You wake up one day, you go from a freshman, first day of the fall, weights, practice, it's all new, and then you wake up and it's your senior day, and it's over. And so you got to enjoy each day. And that means sometimes you got to enjoy the bad, to get to the good. And I think if you can keep the big perspective, keeps everything out in front of you, allows you to appreciate things a little bit more.
Absolutely. Also invest in Apple, right? Yes. And then, all right, putting you guys on the spot here. What are some of the thoughts you have on the pitch clock that is coming to college baseball and softball? Are you a fan or not a fan of it?
I love it. I'm a guy that usually works fast. I think when I work too slow, that's when I make my mistakes. So it's a convenience for me, and it only helps me if it's an inconvenience to the hitter. So I love it.
I agree with Ethan. I like it when we're pitching. I hate it when we're hitting. Just so. But if we've got him on the mound, I'll take what he wants.
Absolutely. Player comfort. Ethan wins on that one. Right. Just for Ethan, since I already know I asked you this one before, Coach, but if you weren't playing your current sport, if you weren't just one of the most filthy left-handed relievers in Division II baseball, what's your next sport or second love?
Oh, man. I wasn't really great at other sports. I was always kind of baseball exclusive. Man, I don't know. I think basketball is the most fun. I'm not very good at it, but it's always fun going to the gym and shooting around, so I guess that would be it.
You're a lefty, so I imagine you have a beautiful golf swing, don't you?
Sorry to disappoint. I'll hook and slice all day.
Fair enough. I do that from the right side. It's just completely aesthetically not pleasing. Yeah. All right, both of you, sunflower seeds or bubble gum in the dugout?
Seeds.
Yeah, I think I got to go seeds.
Easy enough. And then last question for you. What are you looking forward to most this summer after we play just a ton of baseball in the month of May and early June?
Well, usually I get to take a nice little break in the summer. This summer won't be quite the same. I got to get ready for the draft, so I'm excited for the week and a half off after the season that I'll have, and then I'll be right back into it.
I don't know what I'm going to do this summer. Hopefully enjoy, those last couple of weeks with our guys, get a chance to go out and recruit, try to keep building this thing forward. That's the goal.
Maybe we can play a little bit of golf this summer,
100%.
Coach Jolley. Start building a team for Father Shelton so we can take down Kate and Andy in that group.
I think they threw it the last time anyways.
All right, well, again, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Best of luck the rest of the way. And then when we come back here on the Ranger Roundup, we'll be switching gears a little bit, talking some Regis softball with head coach Nicole Thompson and junior infielder Miia Campos. Thank you.
Good job, Ethan.
Oh, thanks, Pat.
Welcome back to the Ranger Roundup. It's time to switch gears now a little bit and move on to the softball diamond. Joining us now is Regis head softball coach Nicole Thompson and junior infielder Miia Campos. Ladies, welcome.
Hi.
Coach, team currently eyeing the potential for a third straight 30-win season as you get ready for this final regular season series on the road against New Mexico Highlands. With our spot in the RMAC tournament already locked up, what's the message to the group as you head into this final series of the regular season?
I think this team has been working. We've had a long season, but for us this weekend is to pretty much fine-tune things to get us ready for the RMAC tournament. And so we've got a good matchup with New Mexico Highlands. We're on the road, but we know that what we need to do to get prepared for next week, and with our spot saved and with us being the 4 or 5 spot of just how do we get better at the things that we've been doing all season? How do we fine-tune things on the mound? How do we find some, energy and motivation and momentum on offense? And I kind of just end this year on a high note. You always want to kind of go into the conference tournament on a strength, and definitely going 4-0 this weekend would help that.
A big part of this run of success the program's been on is the young woman to your right. After freshman and sophomore years where she hit 347 and 355, she's even having a better year now as a junior, hitting 402 with a career high in doubles. From your perspective, what has allowed Miia to be so consistent and not maybe have that sophomore slump or a lull in her production?
Well, sorry, we call her MC, so if you hear me say that, that is her name for us. But MC's just been kind of just our key player in every aspect. She's our 2-hole. when we need a big hit, she's there for us. She's a dynamic threat on the left side of the plate, so she can bunt, she can slap, she can hit for power, she can run. And so she's kind of what gets us going offensively, motor-wise. And then defensively, just the same thing. She's a key component for us. She's solid defensively on the corner. She does the little things right, and that's kind of what our program has really been striving on and going forward. And she's just a perfect example in every aspect that we want here at Regis.
You know, Miia, for you as a hitter, what do you think has allowed you to be so consistent year to year and, you know, really be able to adapt to seeing an RMAC pitcher for a second, third, fourth time when, you know, they're obviously have a book out on you and you have a book on them a little bit?
I think I just try to keep a clean slate every time I go into the weekend. I try not to remember what pitcher beat me last year, or trying to do better. Like, I don't look at my stats to where I'm like, I need to do this more, or I'm failing in this. So I think just going in clean, kind of having a lot of confidence in myself and still working on things even if I am doing good. Like, just keep working no matter what, and on that mental game too.
You know, and how comfortable do you think that you feel now in your third year of playing collegiate softball? You have more walks this year, 22, than strikeouts.
I feel pretty comfortable. Obviously, there's going to be days where I don't do good and stuff, but I think just, again, having that confidence in myself that I've been there before and I can do it, and, yeah, being that player for the team.
You know, in addition to your work at the plate, you've split some time between your normal third base position and some shortstop this year. Growing up, what initially drew you to the hot corner? Because it's not for everyone.
That I didn't have to think as much compared to playing middle infield position, yeah.
So do you enjoy third base or shortstop more?
I do like third more, but I started liking short a little bit, and yeah, but I like third for sure.
All right. Well, you know, to take a small break from the play on the field, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that this program has also won 8 straight RMAC Breckler Awards for the highest team GPA among all conference softball members. Miia was one of the team's 14 players last year with a 3.3 GPA or higher. What does that award mean to both of you? Just, you know, that obviously individually you're having success in the classroom, but collectively for the team to be that well-rounded and have an academic success.
It's what our standard is here at Regis, and it stems from our athletic department all the way down to us coaches to our players, but it's something that they strive for. I have to say my job is pretty easy after recruiting them to get here. These girls are very motivated and very tough degrees. We've got 5 or 6 nursing majors that they're gone almost twice a week at practice for clinicals. And so they continue to strive and do the little things off the field that helps them prepare. And I think a lot of it too is the Regis way. We wouldn't be able to do this without the help with our professors. They're willing to work with us when we're leaving. Our girls do a really good job of communicating. So it's a special award, and it's just become a standard for us. It's a standard for when the freshmen come in or our new transfers of like, hey, this is our expectations. We strive for it. We try to meet it every single year, and when we do, it's a great feeling. It's something that we not only can accomplish on the field, but something off.
And then for you, Miia, what does it mean? I know it's kind of ironic that I'm asking you an academic question while I draw you away from studies during dead week, but what does that award mean to you?
I think it just shows that we push ourselves a lot on and off the field, and it gives you a reason to kind of like, I need to do better in softball, I need to do better in school, so I can't be here without school. And I think basically what Coach Nicole said, like, it's something we strive for, and it's an expectation. If we don't reach it, it's okay, but like it's a standard for our program.
You know, jumping back into softball itself, Coach, and not to look too far ahead, but the RMAC tournament is just 2 weeks away, first weekend of May. This team has made an impressive March last spring, just 1 win shy from advancing to championship Saturday. What do you think this group has been able to learn and can draw off of those previous postseason experiences?
I think a lot of it comes back to our depth and our senior and junior leadership. I've got MC's class that a lot of those juniors have started for 3 years, and now this is their 3rd year coming into the playoffs and the postseason, and that is huge. I mean, those are 30 extra at-bats. Those are 30 innings underneath our pitching staff that can go at a very high stressed pressure situation. And so the more situations that we can give them in that feeling, it's great. I think an also thing is just for them to really fine-tune some things. When we lost the way we did last year in the conference tournament, it's something that we hung in our locker room. We hung that score against Mesa, and we said that was never going to happen again at a conference tournament. And so it's been something that we have been striving for here. And I think this group really knows that we are a team to be reckoned with, and we just have to play clean, come together at the right time, and at the end of the day, hopefully have a little bit of luck.
Miia, for you, as you get ready to compete in your third RMAC tournament, the experiences the coaches just mentioned, how have those experiences maybe been different from you? Are you more relaxed and comfortable now playing in those scenarios than you were maybe as a freshman?
Definitely more comfortable and relaxed. I still get nervous, obviously. It's an exciting thing to be at. Everyone gets riled up and the game gets tight, but I think I'm going to take that as like a blessing kind of to help our underclassmen, who a lot of them are starters, and help them get through the whole tournament and hopefully win it.
And then last question for both of you before we get into our rapid fire round. Obviously last week regular season, then postseason softball in front of us. What are some of the goals that you have set for yourself and this team the rest of the spring?
That's a good one. I think kind of with MCs, to take it all in and be grateful. This is my 5th year here at Regis, and this will be my 5th time at a postseason in the RMAC conference tournament. And so to really, lean back on what this program has accomplished, and this group is really something special. And I think our goal when we first stepped in here with the depth that we have, with the newcomers that we have, is that we were winning the RMAC. And that has never been a goal that we have faltered from. And so I think my goal these next 2 weeks is just to kind of stay present and have fun with this group. It's a great group. I love them to death. I wouldn't want to go to war with any other group. And so to, kind of be that leader for them in a positive way, but also like at the end of the day, we're bringing back that RMAC title. That's our goal.
And then for you, Miia, in that dugout, in that locker room, what you're feeling these last 2 weeks, and what some goals that maybe you've set for yourself and for your team?
For the team, I think same as Coach Nicole. We want to have fun and we want to be there throughout the whole game. I think something we are trying to work in at practice right now is to be able to finish out games, and I think if we can figure that out before the conference tournament, that'll definitely be in our favor, and we'll have a good shot at taking those teams down that we just played. We know we can hang with them, and I think that's our goal, is to just be able to compete all the way through the 7th inning.
Well, ladies, thank you very much for that. Now your favorite part, Coach. I know this is your favorite. Time for our rapid fire questions. In honor of Dead Week this week, in preparation for finals, what was your go-to studying method? Miia, what's the routine? How do you get ready for finals?
I probably shouldn't do this, but I cram everything for the few days before. It ends up working. I remember a lot of the stuff that I have to, but yeah.
You wish you has a 3.7, 3.8. I crammed and was a 2.9 student. Way different results from the cramming, yeah. What about you, Coach?
I was the opposite. I had to write things down, check it 3 times. That's probably why I have to check my lineup 3 million times before I turn it into the umpire in a high-pressured situation. So I think I was very opposite. I was trying to be as organized as I could and see if that could get me somewhere.
All right, this will be interesting for you, just like it was for Ethan, as you are still a student here. But if you could go back and talk to your freshman self again, what's a piece of advice you'd give yourself?
To just take it all in, I guess. It's all gone really fast, and I know a lot of people say that, but it really does. Each year goes by faster than the last. So I think just telling my freshman self that everything's going to work out, everything's going to be okay, and really just taking every moment that you had.
What about you, Coach? What's freshman Nicole? What's the pep talk to her?
That was a long time ago. I think very similar. I like to have my plate really full, and I was involved with a lot of things, and I think taking that back of wanting to do that, but also just very, very much cherishing the things that I could do and be accomplished of, and the teammates and the team that we're around. Being here at Regis, especially my first year, I'll kind of go back to that of my first year coaching of if I could look back to that, of just really cherishing and keeping my feet where we are and enjoying the time and the opportunity that I have.
Wonderful answers. Now time to pivot to something that's coming down the pike for softball. Got a pitcher's take on it. I'm curious to get a hitter's take. What are your thoughts on the pitch clock? Are you a fan or not fan of it?
I'm kind of indifferent to it, but I do get annoyed with some of the people that take a long time to get in the box, so I think it helps, especially for Kylie, because she goes fast. So, yeah.
I don't know. Our game wasn't fast or wasn't slow to begin with. I start, it gets me to make my decisions a little bit quicker on the offensive, if I'm bunting, if I'm stealing. So I think it's kept me a little bit more on my toes where I always had to be one step ahead of it than in the past where I didn't have that time for my hitters to get in. I am for it on the opposite side because, agreed, we have a pitching staff that works very, very quick. And so the pro that we have is that batter doesn't have a lot of time once they get into that plate. It's go time from our pitchers.
So consensus, relatively good thing. We think it's going to be good for Regis softball moving forward.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, Coach, you get to sit this question out because I've already asked this one to you. So this is only for Miia. But if you didn't play your current sport, what was your second best sport?
Soccer.
What position?
Midfield. Yeah.
Okay. Don't let Coach Frickham know that she played soccer. We might have a dual sport athlete on our hands. All right. Sunflower seeds or bubble gum in the dugout?
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
Consensus. All four. No one likes bubble gum. I guess I was in the minority in that one. All right. And then last question for you before we let you go. Obviously we want to be playing softball as long as we can into the month of May, but if you've already gotten to start peeking towards some summer plans, what is something that you are looking forward to doing this summer?
I'm excited to spend time with my sister. She's been gone at college, and I miss her a lot, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
What about you, Coach? Are we back on the boat with Coach Lacombe and his family?
Oh, yeah, we did go to concerts, yeah. Well, softball is very much life, so still have to have softball in part of my life of recruiting and trying to get better for next year. But I think just of cherishing the time that I have with my family. Kramer gets to be around these kids all year, and so having a little downtime with her. My poor husband probably doesn't get to see me very often, so to be able to spend some time with him on that and kind of just soaking in an off time of just realizing that, what season went through, the grind, and kind of getting ready to go for next year.
Well, again, ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and also want to thank Regis Baseball head coach Pat Jolley and senior Ethan Sloan for being on the program tonight. That'll wrap up our Ranger Roundup episodes for the 2023-24 school year. Want to thank all of our student athletes and coaches who joined us this year, and for our fans for tuning in. Be sure to follow along with our spring sports as they make their respective postseason runs, and we'll see you again in 2024-25. Have a good evening.
Good job.
Good job.